We have everybody participating in this one in the ring, so now let's do the introductions. Introducing at 265 pounds, coming from Germany, the European heavyweight wrestling champion, Killer Karl Krupp, and his partner, Herman. And his opponent today, introducing at 242 pounds, coming from Sacramento, California. Welcome back, Mr. T.G. Stone. And I guess it's easy to see that Killer Karl Krupp wants to welcome T.G. back to the Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling Circuit in his normal fashion, without getting any instructions or whatever, right into it. T.G. Stone, the multi-tattooed individual from Sacramento, California. T.G., flat on the canvas, look on his trunks, footloose. T.G., after an absence from the Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling Circuit for about 3 years, he's been to Japan, he's all over the United States and Canada. T.G. will get a good look at what this young man is able to do and what he's learned since he's last been here. You don't wrestle in the kinds of circuits that he's been in without gaining a whole lot of experience. T.G. Stone. The multi-tattooed T.G. Stone. Look at the tattoos on that man. You can get a good shot at some of those. And look at his trunks. Footloose. Wonder if the rest of it goes with that. Footloose and fancy-free. T.G. Stone. California Blonde. Against the European heavyweight wrestling champion, Killer Karl Krupp, and one half of that team that has become known as devastation in itself, the unification of East and West Germany. The German tag team. Killer Karl Krupp, meanwhile, is having his problems against this multi-tattooed T.G. Stone. This match of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling today. Fans of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling will, of course, recognize that T.G. Stone is going to have to do much more than he's been able to do so far if he's going to keep this man they call Killer Karl Krupp from gaining a victory, as he's done in the past. Now we're going to move this match out onto the studio floor. Killer Karl Krupp. No, we're going to use the studio walls. And those concrete walls, I'll tell you, will not do anything. They'll not do anything for your looks or your complexion, I'll tell you. T.G. Stone into the turnbuckle, and Killer Karl Krupp has T.G. Stone. He's got him all cut up. T.G. Stone is all cut on the forehead, where Killer Karl Krupp has driven his head into the studio wall. Now he takes him into the ring. He says, let's get in there and do what we're supposed to do. And there's T.G. Stone. He'll get a shot of that blood pouring out of his head. Killer Karl Krupp goes right for it, and another smash to opening that cut a little bit further. T.G. Stone. Certainly at the wrong end of Killer Karl Krupp. Punches to the head. You get a good shot. You can see a shot of that cut that Killer Karl Krupp has opened up on the forehead of T.G. Stone. T.G. is, I'm sure, wondering what he is doing back here in the Atlantic provinces. At the hands of Killer Karl Krupp, But TG delivers some of his own off the rope as he catches Killer Karl Krupp. And now, shoulder tackles into the corner. T.G. Stone working over Killer Karl Krupp, doing not a bad job of it. Look out! Out goes T.G. Stone. Killer Karl Krupp with presence of mind. T.G. Stone out on the studio floor. We've had a lot of this match on the studio floor, I'll tell you. But T.G. Stone finds himself on the wrong end of that claw, particularly where Killer Karl Krupp has the blood flowing. Killer Karl Krupp working that big claw, cutting off the blood supply to the brain, and puts T.G. Stone down on the canvas. And once he gets him into that position, he can apply that much more pressure. We see the activity by T.G. Stone is almost nil. 1, 2, and 3. That's it. That's all she wrote. It's all over. T.G. Stone loses his return television match to Killer Karl Krupp at 5 minutes, 24 seconds, and Killer Karl Krupp does not want to give it up. Here comes the Great Malumba. Referee Ron Gauguin could not get Killer Karl Krupp to break it up. But the Great Malumba says, I will look after this Killer Karl Krupp, and this is a feud that has been brewing. Fans, this has been brewing for some time. Killer Karl Krupp and the Great Malumba, and they're out into the dressing room area now. The Great Malumba gets rid of Killer Karl Krupp. We're back with more professional wrestling here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling in just a moment.